everybody doing today? Fantasy Philosophy. I'm here with Mike, rocking the polo hat as always, and Ant rocking the Vinny Vines as always. How you doing? We're going to talk a little beast or bust for you today. We're re-energized, ready to go. Real quick, last weekend we had a great trip. We went to the Fantasy Sports Network, got to talk to the guys, have some fun. Ant had a little chance to make some noise on their show, Fantasy BFFs. So it was a good time, overall. I mean, we did get lost in New York, but,
that happens.
It's bound to happen. Right. We saw some subway creatures that we don't really want to see again. I think Mike was a little scared of them, but
we made it out alive.
It's a little bit of an understatement. I've had nightmares.
Yeah, so New York, you gotta love it, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We had a good experience.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun, and we're back. We're better, and we're gonna give you some good information tonight. We got week 12, right? No, week 13. God damn! Every time I say it. All right, week 13.
It's just moving so quick.
Week 13, and we're ready to go. Ready to go. I got salad in my teeth. Mike's telling me. My producer's telling me I got salad in my teeth. It's all right.
It's all right. He's good.
That's why we don't have an HD camera.
Right. They ain't gonna pick it up. It's not.
All right, let's start. Let's start from the top with Mr. Peyton Barber for Beast or Bust. Yep. Last week, 23 attempts for 102, and Doug Martin has got that concussion, and we're unsure if he's gonna come back. And I think you got some news on that.
So it turns out, like the latest report says, that Doug Martin did not practice at all last week, so they foresee that concussion lasting past Sunday. So hopefully he's able to come back, but in terms of Peyton Barber, if you're really rooting for him and pulling for him to come through for you, you actually don't want Doug Martin to come back. So we'll see.
Definitely.
See
I mean, it seems like you like a Mike. Is he a beast or is he a bust?
The way I see it, if Doug Martin plays, you don't play any Buccaneer running backs, including Doug Martin. And if he doesn't play, then you may consider playing Peyton Barber in a deep league. If you need a decent flex option. He doesn't excite me that much, but obviously after we've seen this week, he got the workload and he made the best of it. So if he's out, you can definitely play Peyton Barber.
Definitely, and I think a lot of people went and picked up Jacquizz Rodgers, thinking he might be the guy there, but. I got to be honest, Peyton Barber looked damn good for a running back coming in on short notice, and he played a little bit last year in to help out Doug Martin when he was hurt, and he looked pretty good. I mean, he's not the best running back in the world, but no. I think if you're looking to flex someone in your playoffs, you got Kareem Hunt or someone like that who's not doing it for you, maybe throw him in. He's got some good matchups coming up. The Bucs do, and he could be a possible fill-in for now.
Yeah, totally.
All right, another guy I want to talk about. He had 12 targets on 5 receptions for 79 yards and a touchdown. I don't think anyone's ever even heard of this guy before. Steven Anderson, tight end for the Houston Texans, and he's been getting it done with Tom Savage and the boys down in Houston. And is he a beast or is he a bust?
You know what? Based on latest news of Gronk being suspended, I would say he's a beast. He's a great fill-in for, Gronk owners. Unfortunately, he's not going to play next week, heading into the first week of the playoffs, which is such a bummer. But honestly, I think he's a beast. He's got a good matchup next week against San Fran. They're 18th against tight ends. So, Honestly, I would roll with him. It looks like he's a good safety blanket for Tom Savage.
I'm not really too comfortable with this guy. He has been seeing the field here and there all season, and this is the first time he's really done anything of value. So I'm not trying to get too excited on it. Who knows? He might be the next Ricky Seals-Jones. Have one more game where he gets a touchdown. People are going to be, jumping out of their seats for him. But I'm not ready to do that yet.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, jumped out of your seat last week for Ricky Seals-Jones.
Yeah, it didn't pay off. But I think he's actually going to have a comeback week this week.
All right, well, we'll get to him, I think we got him on the agenda today. All right, Kenyon Drake, 23 carries for 120 yards, touchdown, and an extra 21 yards in the air. Yeah. He had a pretty good game against a declining Broncos defense, but he did get it done. So, Mike, what do you think? He a beast or is he a bust?
I was saying he was a beast before this game. Obviously, when you give a guy 23 carries, just like Peyton Barber, they're going to do something.
Definitely.
They're going to do something. So
that's what you hope.
Even if Damian Williams does come back, I'm still going to be flexing Kenyon Drake. If he's not, he's a complete stud going forward.
And would you start him next week over a Kareem Hunt?
No, I wouldn't. I love Kenyon Drake. I think he's a beast. but you gotta still roll with Kareem Hunt.
No way. There's no way. You can't be.
Who's the Kareem Hunt have next week? We're looking at.
When was the last time Kareem Hunt got over 10 points?
Too long, Mike.
The last time was week 7.
And like
Kenyon Drake has been filling in for he's been pretty much a backup running back for the past 7 weeks behind Damian Williams. They've been splitting, and he's been doing better than Kareem Hunt.
I'm telling you, this
and now
guy,
he gets the workload, and he's blowing everybody away.
This guy is the reason you're losing in fantasy. If you took him to week 5, 6, you probably were really good in your league. Now, ever since then, he's losing you games. If you were a top team in the beginning of the year, he's destroying your season because you have to put him in. And every week, on every single network, I can tell you for a fact, there's at least one guy saying, this is the week he's going to come back. This is the week he's going to put up 100 yards. This is the week he's going to get in the end zone. Every single week, they're saying this. Whether it's ESPN, NFL, anything. People are saying, put him in your lineups. And I don't think you got to do it. No, if you're in the playoffs now, you can't. You can't risk it. It's too risky. You're going to get, 6 points out of him in standard, 10 in PPR? I don't think it's even worth it. You'd rather play a guy who's going to put 12, 15 points up.
Yeah.
I'd rather play the Patriots' third-string running back over Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Which is who?
Who knows? James White at this point? Is James White?
I mean, that's a little deep, Mike. I don't know about that.
Listen,
honestly, he has more potential with the receiving game. I honestly would rather play James White over Kareem Hunt.
All I'm going to say
healthy.
is that Kareem Hunt is playing an Oakland defense. 20th against the run this year to fantasy running backs. Okay, Orleans Darkwa only had 32 carries. He did have a touchdown last week. But the Giants were not firing on all cylinders like they haven't all year. But now I feel like the Kansas City offense, they shown some light last week. And I think in a more competitive game against the Raiders and a division opponent, I think Kareem Hunt's going to go off. I really do. He's going to be over 100 yards and a touchdown.
I don't know. We saw the offense go off last week, but we didn't see Kareem Hunt go off.
Yeah, well,
so
you know what? They had
change?
the new offensive coordinator. They got out early, 14-0, and the guy was like, let's keep hammering it. And that's the reason why they lost. They didn't control the game. It reminded me of the Falcons in the Super Bowl. You got to control the game. And Kareem Hunt, he should have been the guy there.
Should have been.
Didn't get enough carries. They didn't get the ball enough.
Yep.
All right. Kenyon Drake, what'd you say? Beast? Play him next week.
Beast. Play him.
All right. Ricky Seals-Jones. Mike loved him last week. Told you to play him. Who'd you tell him to play him over?
Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
I think you might have said Jimmy Graham too. Was that a statement?
I don't think I said Jimmy
All
Graham.
right, maybe it wasn't Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham's my number one.
All right, he definitely okay. All right, but last week Ricky Seals-Jones gets 5 targets for 2 catches, 44 yards.
Still did better than Austin Seferian-Jenkins, by the way.
Still, I mean, all right, true, you're right.
All right.
Next week he gets Tennessee. Mike, are you going back to him? Is he a beast or is he a bust?
I'm still going to be playing him. I think he's still a beast. They're playing a struggling Tennessee secondary. They're 25th against the pass. I think this is a good comeback game for Blaine Gabbert. I think he's gonna be firing down the field, and Ricky Seals-Jones is gonna be getting a bunch of passes thrown towards him.
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. I actually picked up Blaine Gabbert as a backup quarterback for the playoff run in one of my leagues, and he's having solid games. He got 15, 17. He's not bad. I got Drew Brees, so he's not putting up huge points. So I figured, why not? If he's got a good matchup, maybe I'll put him in over Drew Brees just because the way they run their offense. But Blaine Gabbert looks good. Ricky Seals-Jones, and is he a beast or bust?
I say he's a beast. Honestly, again, another good replacement for Gronk owners. So if you're a Gronk owner, why not stash him? After
Definitely.
He does have Tennessee, which is 11th against tight ends, which is okay, but their secondary overall is struggling. But then he's got great matchups against Washington and the Giants. Washington's 29th against tight ends, and then the Giants are 32nd.
Right.
So you never know. Maybe you might need a tight end risky play in your playoff push, and maybe he could take you to the promised land. You never know.
Definitely. I mean, it's close, and let's. You know what? We haven't really touched upon this. We should touch upon it.
Yeah.
Let's touch upon Gronk's little incident. All right, the other day.
Yeah, we keep talking about
it. And Gronk turned into Gronky Kong. He did a little move on that guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's totally out of line.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any spot for that in the NFL.
No way. He deserves more games. To be honest, he deserves more games. He assaulted a player.
Right.
Literally assaulted.
I mean, he literally dropped an elbow on him.
Yeah.
He went fucking.
And he can cuss the guy. I just found out. I didn't even know he can cuss the guy. Like, that's ridiculous.
I know.
That's
he went.
ridiculous.
What is the Rock's move? Did he have the
people's elbow?
He people's elbowed this guy for no reason. I don't know why. Why was he frustrated?
He
had 147 yards.
He was holding him and shit. But get over it, dude. You're up fucking 23-3. Like, come on.
That's what I'm saying. I think maybe he
makes
had
no
a little
sense.
bit too much,
No sense.
maybe a little too much,
Yeah.
something before the game. But
Yeah.
if I was the commissioner, I would give him 2 games, maybe 3, because you hurt someone that
that guy's in the concussion
and they
protocol.
were in a defensive. It wasn't like it was
on
in
the
He was
game.
laying on the ground out of bounds.
Like, I could see if he
Tackled the
swung
guy.
at him and he
Right.
was aware that it was coming, but he was literally on the ground.
So is there any guys, we talked Ricky Seals-Jones, we talked a little bit about Steven Anderson. Is there anyone else that you might see, you could throw in there for the playoffs? Because, guys that have Gronk are most likely in the playoffs because he's Gronk. He puts up 15, 16 a week, and he's doing really well. Do you guys think there's anyone out there right now that you can maybe pick up and put him in if this, for this 1 week, if not more?
I would say Njoku from Cleveland. Now that Josh Gordon's back, he could be taking some attention from away from him.
True.
And he could really do good in the middle of the field. He got 74 yards and a touchdown against LA.
Njoku, beast or bust?
Is he on our beast or bust list today?
I don't think so.
I think
we skipped out.
I'm gonna say if you're desperate, if you're a Gronk owner, just roll with him. So I guess that makes him a beast, right? I don't know.
I'm not going beast with him. There's no way.
Yeah.
This guy is so inconsistent. Like maybe every 5 weeks he'll get in the end zone, and that's the top of his game.
Yeah,
I'm not excited for him, especially with Gordon back. I was surprised that Coleman didn't even have a good game. I was surprised Coleman didn't have a bigger game with them being able to spread the field. But
right.
I mean, the Chargers secondary is pretty tough. So
Definitely.
Right. And now he versus a Green Bay defense, which I don't even know what they are against the pass, but I'm pretty sure they're not that good at all.
All right, let's we had the Gronk little discussion there.
Yeah.
Let's go on to someone who used to be on that team, Jimmy Garoppolo. He's been slinging it. I mean, he did not throw a touchdown, but he got the job done. And the biggest recipient of that little game that Jimmy G had was Marquise Goodwin. 8 catches on 8 targets, 100% efficiency, 99 yards.
Right.
Mike, what do you think? Marquise Goodwin, is he worthy of a flex? Beast or bust? Marquise Goodwin.
I think he's a beast. If you're struggling down the stretch, you're losing guys to injury or suspension, whatever it is.
Right.
I think he's a solid guy you can put in there. He's catching all the balls given to him. 8 catches on 8 targets. That's ridiculous. For almost 100 yards. This is just the first game that he's played with Jimmy Garoppolo, and they're going to get better as they go along. I mean, I know they're not fighting for much going, to the end of the season, but they're trying to prove something. They're trying to see what they got for next year. And I'm excited for Marquise Goodwin. He's a special player. When you get the ball in his hands, he's going to do something.
Definitely. And real quick, beast or bust on this guy?
I mean, I would say if you're in the playoffs, you already have kind of your wide receiver core set. So I would say he's a bust. Like, don't risk it. Don't play a guy like this. He versus Chicago defense that wasn't, it's not too good. But if you're trying not to be the Sacco, might as well throw him in your flex. He got 8 catches for 99 yards last week. Not bad. Why not? Take a risk.
Put him in.
Yeah.
So, you brought up the Sacco. Not the best thing in the world to have, right?
No way.
Well, this guy hasn't had the best couple of years, but he came back last week,
Right.
and he looked like he's been in the league for the last couple of years. Josh Gordon, 11 targets, 4 receptions on 85 yards.
Yeah.
Next week gets the Packers, who is not the best against the pass.
Mm-mm.
Mike, this guy's been through a lot. You trust him going forward? Josh Gordon, beast or bust?
I think he's a beast going forward. Even though he didn't really make a lot of the opportunities that he had this week, he has the talent. He's doing what he can on the Cleveland Browns. And as same thing with the Jimmy Garoppolo, Marquise Goodwin. This was their first game playing together, and they're only going to get better. Definitely a beast going forward.
And what do you think, Josh Gordon?
Honestly, I'm gonna say he's a beast going forward. Mike, you had a really good stat. So I was on the cusp this whole time preparing for the show, and Mike told me the stat right before the show, and it kind of convinced me. I think he's a bust. He's going against Green Bay's D, who's 30th against the pass. Baltimore might be a little shaky.
You think he's a beast? You just said you think he's a bust.
I think he's a beast.
Okay.
But Mike had a good stat.
Josh
that he
Gordon,
convinced me
first
with.
game back in the league. He's the second receiver this season to get over 85 receiving yards against the Chargers. The only behind Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah,
he's the only one.
It's impressive.
It's really impressive.
Yeah,
for a guy that's coming back for the first time in 3 years, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
Now it looks like fantasy philosophy analyst Pete had a little something to say in our little notes here in our little agenda. No, right
One
here.
in red?
Number one wide receiver
Oh.
in the game while on the field. Why don't we touch upon that real quick? Because that's a bold statement from Pete. We know he
That is
likes
a
to make his
bold-
bold statements.
That is a bold statement.
You
I
think
would-
he's number one receiver while he's on the field?
honestly, when he was on drugs, yes. I don't think so. I don't think he can compete against the likes of Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, and DeAndre Hopkins. There's no way. There's no way. Unless you give him a quarterback, then we'll see.
I mean, Ed, this is his first game back from 2-3 years of not playing football.
Dude, it's
he
like
puts
riding
up
a
85
bike.
yards.
It's like riding a bike, dude.
Playing
He's
football
got
is like
natural
riding a
talent.
bike.
He has
I can
natural
ride a bike.
talent.
Can I go play in the
He
NFL?
has natural talent. All right. He has natural talent. Like I said, it's like riding a bike for him. It's natural. It's natural for him. It's
Right.
natural for him. You know, but like I said, he was on drugs when we saw him go freaking ham.
Are you
against
on
these-
drugs right now?
I might be on drugs right now, man. I don't know. Fuck.
If
but yeah, I don't
given
know.
Oh,
the
well,
right
he's
the right
that.
situation with a decent quarterback, I think he'd be a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL,
Top 3 or number 1?
depending who the quarterback is. If you give me a top quarterback like maybe a Rodgers or a Breeze, he could Brady. He could definitely be a number one wide receiver,
Definitely.
100%.
All right, guys. Before we wrap up here, I just want to make a statement to all our viewers and followers. All of the fantasy philosophers, every single analyst, we're in a league with other people, friends, family, and all of us are in the playoffs, except for Mike. But
Every philosopher.
every philosopher
Oh,
is in the
man.
playoffs. Me and Ann are the 1 and 2 seeds, so we're gonna have
That's
some
right.
fun in the playoffs
Yeah,
this
when-
year. But just to let you know, what we're saying is not crap. What we're
It's not.
saying, we put into practice and we use it every time. I think
Yep.
I'm in 50% of my leagues or 75% of my leagues. I'm in the playoffs.
I'm in 100%.
100%.
100%.
Mike's actually in all the playoffs in his other leagues, except not with us.
Except the one that matters.
right,
He's not.
right. So quality is there. All right, the quality is there. We're always answering questions on Twitter before game time, Thursday, Sunday, Monday at
Yeah.
FNTSY Philosophy. Be sure to ask us some questions. We're here for you. We're trying to help you out. And you got anything left for these guys?
No, just good luck in the playoffs. I mean, me and Paul, like you said, we're the 1 and 2 seed, so that means we have buys, right? So what are we gonna do this weekend, Paul? Tell them our plans. What
We're gonna
do this
take a
weekend.
long walk on the beach.
Right. It's gonna be beautiful.
We're gonna get some ice
A little
cream.
cold. Yeah.
Maybe
little
go
cold.
see a movie.
Boy, you think
Yeah.
you can handle the ice cream?
Maybe.
I don't know if you can handle that ice cream.
lactose intolerant.
I am indeed lactose intolerant. But it's gonna be nice.
It
We're
is
gonna,
gonna
we're
be
gonna
nice.
just hang out,
Yeah.
enjoy the time that we've
Sit
had
back,
this season.
relax, no stress.
No stress.
You know,
No stress. We're hanging
don't
out.
gotta worry about Jordan Howard giving you 3 points.
That's
You
it,
know,
man.
there's no stress.
There's no stress.
you know?
No stress.
It's gonna be good.
So there you have it. Beast or bust with the fantasy
Relax.
philosophers.
Relax.
We'll see you next time on Beast or Bust.